my god.
Hey guys, so my house kind of burned down.
This is the moment where Austin Evans thought he had lost it all.
I was standing in front of my apartment on fire, thinking, what the hell do I do now?
A devastating house fire had reduced his life's work to ashes.
So this is actually my very first computer. It's hard to believe this was a 3-story building. It's just a pile now.
But in the face of adversity, Austin found a way to rebuild, stronger than before.
It was a reset in my life. I really think about things before fire and after fire.
An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it?
The year is 2007. Apple's first iPhone has just been released. The Wii, Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 are the talk of the gaming world.
3, 2, 1!
Amidst this tech revolution, a 14-year-old Austin Evans launches his YouTube channel. Austin grew up in the United States.
When I was growing up, we moved a lot.
I grew up in Missouri. I grew up in a family that was not very technically inclined.
Austin was raised in a household that financially fluctuated.
We were up and down all the time. You know, there'd be a year where the whole family goes on a vacation, and there'd be a year where my brother and I are in the car while they're getting food stamps.
My dad was always in sales, so, he had a lot of jobs, and like I said, we moved a lot. So it was one of those things where it was always something new going on, right? So whether it was, he sold cars for quite a while, he sold timeshares for a long time. Like, it was pretty impactful for me as a kid, right? Because I wasn't used to necessarily like a 9-to-5. It was just very much sort of like a lot of ups and downs.
Austin's school life was also turbulent. A fight with a playground bully got Austin pulled out of school by his mother.
My teacher pulled me aside with her and explained that I had gotten into a fight with Mike. My mom did not like that at all and decided that I should be pulled out of school, and she started homeschooling me instead.
So with all the extra time on his hands and the lack of friends to socialize with, Austin was drawn to write stories online with a community of others who shared his passion.
The biggest thing for me early was actually much more on the writing side.
For most of my teenage years, I legitimately thought I would become an author. That is, until I discovered this new website called YouTube.
Starting out, Austin's channel went by Duncan33303.
I didn't want to use my real name on the internet, so I came up with the name Duncan.
That was a old internet name from when I was like 10.
Austin's curiosity for gadgets and computing advancements fueled his desire to learn and share.
When I think back to my earliest memories of tech, it's like, the first thing was absolutely the Game Boy, right?
Even from a young age, Austin's fascination with tech was prevalent.
There's a time where we were at a Goodwill with my mom, and my brother and I like, hey, there's like a $5 junk old PC. Like, hey, can we buy that? I just tear it apart. And she's like, that doesn't sound safe. No, you can't do that. But it was like kind of like, where the seeds start to plant. It's like, you know what? This is interesting. This is exciting. And certainly when YouTube rolled around, that I was able to be exposed to a way wider world of what sort of tech could provide.
Austin started building his audience at the right time.
Hey guys, this is Austin.
YouTube in 2009 was nowhere near the giant of a platform it is today. There wasn't the depths of oversaturation in content that there is now. Nobody knew if there was any career in content creation. And there was real uncertainty regarding whether or not YouTube itself would last.
The thing is, YouTube came at a really good time in my life because it was, right around I was 16, 17, where I normally would be getting a job. It was just kind of like, oh, well, that would be nice if maybe I could make that happen someday, but it wasn't like some kind of concrete plan or anything.
Austin's commitment to being consistent and delivering honest and thoughtful content in the early days built him a loyal fan base that kept him at the forefront of the tech community. From the outside, Austin's success might seem like an inevitable rise in the saturated market of tech YouTube, but his journey was far from easy. The ever-changing landscape of YouTube required constant adaptation and innovation.
I never, ever want to get locked into one particular segment. I want to be, doing whatever works. And, as trends kind of go up and down, I don't want to be locked into something. So I'm always ready to go, oh, people like that. I like that. Okay, start focusing on that.
Austin's influence in the tech community grew, earning him a loyal following. His honest reviews and engaging tech builds established him as a trusted name in the industry.
Samsung invited me to my very first event. It was for the launch of the Galaxy S3, and I couldn't believe it. They were going to fly me to New York. I was going to see the phone early. It was completely mind-blowing.
Collaborations also played a crucial role in Austin's rise.
My name is Marquez, and I'm with Austin. Welcome to the YouTube Tech Podcast.
Partnering with other tech YouTubers like Marquez Brownlee introduced him to a wider audience and brought a sense of community to his channel. Austin's channel kept growing, and he had built a community of loyal viewers. But in the world of YouTube, success is fleeting. One moment you're a hero, and the next you are irrelevant. The internet waits for nobody, and any delay to Austin's momentum could have destroyed everything he had worked towards.
Called them probably 5 minutes ago. It's gone. There's nothing they can do now. Oh my God.
In 2014, disaster struck. Austin had awoken to his worst nightmare.
I had stayed up late the night before. I was editing a browser test, which is a video that I used to do a lot. And I don't remember what time it was. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever. I was asleep, but I heard yelling. I looked out and I saw like black smoke up there. And I was like, jumped up out of bed, like grabbed my phone. And I had grabbed a MacBook Air, which was my laptop at the time, threw my jacket on, threw my shoes on, sprinted down. I was like down like 3 huge flights of stairs, and I almost fell because the block box that I had taken down was like heavy. I ran all the way down, kind of like threw it in front of the garage, went around, and the fire was huge.
The fire that ravaged Austin's home in 2014 didn't just destroy his equipment and setup. It threatened to halt his burgeoning career.
It's just one of those moments where you always hear like, oh, it doesn't hit you until later. But like, as soon as I saw, I was like, oh, this is like it. You're hyped up on adrenaline. I was like dead asleep to like, freaking running around and like heart pumping everything. But the thing that got me was there was a lady on the other side who didn't know what was going on. She like went to go back inside. And so I literally like ran up the stairs to like knock on her door. No, you need to leave. Like it is like on fire right now. It was crazy. It was just a blur of so many things happening. I remember one of the neighbors, I helped push their car out of the garage. There was just so many things because like I could not sit still. I had to be moving. I had to be doing something. Stuff is stuff, but like, there's people and, they have, pets. There's all these kind of things. And it's just like, to me, I could not sit still for like, you can see, I'm getting like antsy thinking about it right now. It wasn't until a few hours later that I think the gravity of everything really hit. My apartment at that point had collapsed. Like my apartment was like on the ground. Like obviously there was like not a whole lot that could be done. And it really wasn't until the next day, which is when I shot the video, I was told from one of my neighbors that they were going to come and like kind of rope it off. Me and a few of my neighbors like, hey, let's go over now, try to get whatever we can before we're not allowed into the thing. So that's why you can see we're like, digging through the wreckage and pulling stuff out. And obviously I wasn't really able to find much of anything.
I just dug this iPad out, and if you can see, it actually works. It still works.
Despite this tragedy, Austin found the strength to remain positive, even throughout the fire video.
I mean, I feel like I'm a positive person. Like, I think that's always, I'm a very sort of optimistic kind of person. I always try to look on like the bright side of things. But anytime my camera is on, no one wants to see me being sad and blah, 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 blah. I mean, obviously there are times in which I've been emotional, and then that's fine. That's real. I try to be positive. I try to share that positivity. And I think that's just kind of who I am. It's not like, I just decide that I'm gonna be happy about it. It's not like, I'm gonna go make some hilarious jokes. Like for me, it's like, that was the way I felt in the moment. That was the way that I feel about most kind of things. And, the good thing was, while it was obviously a bad thing that happened, it could have been far worse.
But even so, Austin still felt the weight of his circumstances.
If I'm being really honest with you, it was 36 hours between when the fire happened to when I had finished the video and uploaded it, right? So it was a pretty short amount of time. There was definitely a much sort of darker emotional time for me after that, because, I didn't have anything to do. I still was in like crisis mode, that whole day that happened. The day after as I'm making the video, I distinctly remember I was staying with my parents who are not too far away. And, I came back, I made the video, I edited it. I remember I hit the export button. And that was the moment I'm like, oh, this is like real. Oh, there's my Pokemon cards in there. My childhood journals. That was really the moment I'm like, what the hell do I do now?
In the days following the fire, prominent figures in the tech YouTube community, including Lou from Unbox Therapy and Jonathan Morrison, stepped up to help Austin rebuild.
What's up, man? So,
This Mac Pro is from a lot of different people, actually. Yeah. It's like from 14 different people. Every single person who makes tech videos basically contributed to that.
The only thing I really have to say is I really admire your attitude. Hey, what's up, Austin? It's Marquez. Just wanted to send positive vibes your way and say props for being and staying so positive through it all.
Hey, Austin, Mario and I would like to just say that we think you're an awesome person.
There's definitely like some days in there where I just was like, I'm going to sit on the couch and be sad. And I think that that's okay. And, you know, thankfully, by the time that Lou and John had come back, I was starting to feel better. And them coming and surprised me, I was back. I was immediately like, the next day, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do this thing. We'll look for an apartment. Like, I sort of lost that apathy of just like being sad and feeling like a meh, 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 meh. And then I was just like, let's go. This was an amazing thing. Like, that was just such a huge jump start for me.
The community's response was overwhelming. Austin emerged from the ashes with renewed resilience, determined to give back to the community that had stood by him in his darkest hour.
The fact that you guys all chipped in, all made this happen just for me that's worth more than you guys know.
The fire seemed to also have sparked life into collaboration in the tech community.
The night after the fire, I'm sitting at Chili's with Lou and John, and Lou was pitching us on, he wanted to make a video for Fanboy Rap. A few months later, we actually did it. You know, like Lou put together this huge shoot. It was in LA.
So we're here for the Fanboy Rap official video.
Had all kinds of the tech community out, you know, locations. It was for us at the time, crazy legit.
The fanboy, he's on it. PC, Master Race, Xbox for the...
That was, I think, a real catalyst for getting a taste of like what that real collab life would look like, building a community and sort of doing something bigger.
Look at this, the entire tech mafia meetup.
There was a lot of stuff going on at the time. The iPhone 6 and Bendgate, so many things like that happened in that year, I think really helped drive the community. It just felt like floodgates were open because we were all like, why are we doing this by ourselves? Hey, do you want to come out this weekend? Hey, do you want to come out and we shoot this? Like, it just all started flowing because everyone just sort of realized like, oh, wait a minute, like there's like a whole world out there.
Austin's journey didn't just resume, it evolved. He adapted to the changing landscape of YouTube and continued to grow his brand with a focus on quality and engagement. He moved out to California.
I'm actually moving out to LA in like less than a week.
And built out a team to help him work on a more consistent and quality output of content.
Once we had our own space, that was big, right? I mean, I had an office, had no idea how to run an office. I had no idea how to do any of this stuff, but it was just like, here's a spot. It's not my second bedroom or closet or whatever. Like, no, this is like an office, and we're here to start cranking on stuff. And before that, I had been massively bottlenecked by myself. I was not seeing the full potential of what was there. And once Ken arrived and the office was there, we started setting stuff up, it took off, right? It was just like, oh man, here's what this thing can be.
Ken Bolido helped the channel reach its potential, and he is someone who still works with Austin today.
I've been working with Austin now for about 7 or 8 years at this point.
Austin's channel has consistently evolved in the years since the fire, and Austin's personality and humor shines more than it ever has before.
Ow, ow.
Austin developed a style of content that would keep him engaging audiences for years and years, blending humor and knowledge, leading to popular mainstay series such as Mystery Tech.
Welcome to another very special edition of Mystery Tech.
Everything was new and exciting. Austin had just moved away from Missouri for the first time, had his own office, and was making all sorts of new videos.
I look back on those times so fondly. I obviously everything is great now, but things are much more, I would say, stable now, which is good. Stable is good, right? But it's also not as much fun, right? Like, these are businesses. At the time, it felt like the sky was the limit, like everyone's gonna go 5x their subscribers every year, and you would sit in a park and shoot a speed test with Galaxy S3, get 7 million views because like everyone was excited about the iPhone. It was crazy. It was crazy. It felt like there's absolutely no limit. And it's nice to know that we've come to a stable, happy place. But yeah, those times are crazy.
In 2022, Austin's father passed away.
It was one of those things where he wasn't in great health, so it wasn't a huge surprise. I mean, it was, but as much as any of these things could be. I had been a dad for like 6 months at that point. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the way I would say it is just it was a good sort of reminder on how I should do things. Almost like a passing of the torch, I guess. Of like, it's my turn now, right? Yeah. It's easy because like, I think it's so easy for me to be busy and, you know, bouncing from thing to thing. And I think about a lot about how I maybe don't spend enough time reminiscing, going through this stuff. Because like, you know, the whole thing happened and then just life kept going, you know, right back to work, right back to the grind, taking care of the baby, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I think everyone processes things differently, but I think it's just one of those things where every time I go back and talk, it's like, it's sad, but it feels good, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, it's good to talk about these things. It's good to, you know, honor him. Everyone handles things differently. I would never want to judge, and I don't think that I probably handle things in a quote-unquote correct way all the time, but I think everyone has to process things in their own way, and I think that I've got work to do. I'm doing the work, and that lets me maybe hide from some of this stuff sometimes, and it's probably not great, but it's the way that's the way I am, I guess. I don't know. It's just, you know, there's pros and cons to, I think, the way that everyone approaches any situation, good or bad, you know, and it's, you know, yeah. My dad was a very committed guy, very committed to when he wanted to do something, he saw it through, even when you could argue you probably should bail. If you start it, you finish it, and if you commit and make a promise to someone that you're going to do this thing, then do the thing. He approached problems in a different kind of way that I think was kind of helpful for me to grow. And probably the number one influence from my dad was just like the overall attitude of being a little chill about things. I think that's something that I've very much taken to heart. I was like, a lot of stuff happens. A lot of stuff goes wrong. A lot of stuff goes right. Remembering to center yourself, remembering that some battles aren't worth fighting was something that my dad always really instilled in me. Figure out the problem, try to make some solutions. Maybe tomorrow when it's all said and done, then go, oh, but in the moment, be serious, just sort of work through it. And that was something that I think was very helpful for me in kind of thinking about how to approach, I mean, even I think stuff like the fire, right? Of like the way that is, here's what's going on, figure out what you could do, you have a limited amount of time, do what you can do. And then afterward, you can kind of sit down and sort of emotionally process what just happened. But that doesn't help anything in the moment.
Today, Austin Evans isn't just a tech reviewer. He's the founder of Overclock Media, managing several channels and continuing to influence the tech world, aiming to diversify the projects and channels he was working on. Currently, Overclock oversees several popular YouTube channels, including a more humor-based tech show, This Is.
Hello and welcome to This Is.
It's a spider! Oh no!
As well as longtime Austin Evans cameraman, Ken Bolido's channel, Denki.
I'm in Taipei taking a look at the largest tech malls the city has to offer.
Overclock Media has become a hub of creativity and innovation, reflecting Austin's commitment to pushing boundaries and exploring new ideas.
For me, it's been really nice to be able to build a business that functions. I was gone for an event for 4 or 5 days, and then I immediately got COVID after. I was gone for like a week, and you know what? Nothing burned to the ground.
Today, Austin isn't just a content creator. He's a business owner, a husband, and a father.
Your perspective changes. Chasing the next subscriber, the next 1 of 10, the next big brand deal, like all these things are still exciting and they're still great, but there was a very long time where that was it.
With a steady head on his shoulders and an understanding of how to navigate the ups and downs of a YouTube career, he has found a way to remain popular even after 15 years on the platform.
You're gonna have wins, you're gonna have losses, you're gonna have days that are great, you're gonna have months where you go negative subscribers. All these things are normal and fine. That can't be how you define yourself as a person, because that's how I did.
As the years have gone by, Austin defines success as being parallel with happiness.
As I, got married and had children and stuff, obviously that kind of stuff always puts into perspective what's important and what's not.
A decade after the fire, Austin continues to thrive. Overclock Media continues to grow, and every struggle Austin has experienced has taught him meaningful lessons that have helped him prosper. But even as time has progressed and his business has grown, his work ethic and determination hasn't wavered.
It's important to always consider that this can still absolutely go away, and maybe there's a little bit more safety net than there was, back in the day, but it's still there. So it's just like trying to find the right balance of getting work done, being aggressive, doing as much as you can, but also balancing that with what is really important in life. You've got work covered, you got family covered, and you try to, do the best you can, right?
From the ashes of a devastating fire to the business heights of Overclock Media, Austin Evans' story is one of resilience, passion, and unwavering determination to make a success out of hardship. From making videos in his bedroom to attending the White House, his journey is a testament to the power of perseverance, a willingness to evolve, and the support of a community that kept believing in him. This is how one man built a tech empire from ashes. This is the story of Austin Evans.
Decades from now, right? You're in Hawaii or wherever you decide to retire. You're on the pool and you're sat back on the chair. You don't want to read a book. You're going, do you know what? I'm going to reminisce. How do you want to be remembered, and what do you hope people take away from the person that is Austin Evans?
It's important to do what you love, and I've been incredibly fortunate to do what I love for my entire adult life. And not everyone gets that luxury. Very few people get that luxury. And I think it's really important to be grateful for the good sort of things you are able to do. And I think that for me, it's like the tech community could, has, and will thrive without me, right? Like there's no question about that. Like what I like to think that maybe I've had a small part in helping to push some things forward and stuff. I would hope so, but like that's not, it's about something that's way bigger than any one person. And it's one of those things where I think as you get older, perspectives change. Not too long ago, I met a guy. He was chatting with him a little bit. He had been a fan of the channel, and he mentioned that he had just gotten his driver's permit. And I stopped for a second, did the math, and I was like, wait a minute. And he's like, yeah, it was my birthday last week. I was like, so you were born after my first video? And now you're a full-grown driving person talking to me. Wow. That was one of those moments where it was just like, life moves fast. It moves so fast. And I think you blink and 5-10 years fly by at a certain point. And I think it's just worth trying to hold on to that. But I think just when it's all said and done, when it's all sipping Mai Tais on the beach or whatever I find to do, it's going to be a lot more engaging because I can't sit still for long enough to do that. I think it's going to be a level of pride, I think, of just sort of what I was able to do and how I was able to do it. And obviously there's a lot of mistakes along the way and a lot of things I wish I could do differently, but ultimately just, I think I have already at this point in my life been able to do everything I could have ever hoped for. So many amazing projects, so many amazing experiences. Like I don't have a bucket list of things. Like it really is just like I've done so many amazing things that it's going to be very hard, I think, to think about like, oh, the regrets here, the regrets there. Like I think I've been in an incredibly fortunate sort of position to be able to do a lot of these things, and hopefully by the time that I finally find that beach, I'll have done a whole lot more cool things. But like I'm content. I think that's like that's a good spot to be. I feel almost a little like guilty about it because I know that's not a spot that most people get to experience often or ever. And it's just like it's gone well, and yeah, it's good to be grateful.